Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently on approach to the station and the frame rate is better. I have restarted the game and that definitely does help on those situations where the frame rate just absolutely tanks from loading in the station. Restarting makes it better. It doesn't fix it, but it makes it better. So at this point, we need to be thinking about what direction we're traveling. We're traveling nearly exactly towards the station. And I want to potentially toss in some directionality out this way. Something about like that. Of course, we're currently turning, and that's not ideal. Okay. There we go. Something a little bit more like this. And the reason I wanted to do that is because now we can turn ourselves right on over this way and jettison, now that we have some momentum out over here, which is, if we head directly over to where our velocity is, we can see what vector we're heading in. And that directionality is basically out over here right now. That means that we can jettison this stage and have it not impact the station. And that is a good thing. Absolutely, that's a good thing. I want to jettison it further out this way, because we'd really like it to not hit the station, right? That would be ideal. We do have 616 meters per second left in it, but we're done with it for now. We don't need anything else. Sure, we could use it for deorbiting, but that's not how this is designed to go. So I'm going to jettison this stage in this direction. There we go. And we can open up our shield on our Clampatron docking port Junior. We're going to want to be docking. Let's see, it's going to be on this side, right? So we're going to want to get our RCS going here, and I want to head in this direction to get to the other side of the station. So we can see our towards direction is moving over here. This seems about right. Okay. Let's warp forward a little bit and get a little closer. We need to get, again, to the other side of the station here. So somewhere out over here looks decent. And now I want to be heading, like, I want to be pointing towards target. Okay, yeah, this is a thing. We can deal with that, but it's annoying. No doubt about it. So we're going to need to use RCS and bring our velocity down over this way. We're going to want to dock up right over here. And can we grab that from here? Yes, got it. Fantastic. So we're going to want to head out over this direction, and we're going to want to get a little bit of speed like this way, which ends up meaning now that we're heading directly towards this docking port, we need to go a little bit further this direction. Not a huge amount, something about like that. And let's just bring this on in. That's pretty decent directionality, all things considered. Okay, so we're just going to rotate this guy around a bit. I want to still be a little off in this way, though. Okay, we should be heading mostly this direction. Yeah, this is looking good for our approach. And we're going to want to bring down that momentum here. So we're doing exactly that, just bringing this right on over. Looks like we're not quite exactly in line yet. So we can just let this drift ever so slightly further to about here or so. Cool. And we're heading directly towards the docking port basically now. Looks like we're still a little bit too high, so I do certainly want to bring us down a fair amount. So we'll just line ourselves up in this vectoring. It's looking better, but it's not ideal just yet. Okay, something more akin to this. Cool. Somewhere around here or so. And in this vectoring, we need to head slightly this way. That's fine. More like here. Okay. We should be reasonably lined up for this. I don't think it's perfect. It looks like we need to go ever so slightly this way. Not a huge amount, though. But we're very, very close here. Okay. And we're docked. Beautiful. So that was nice and clean. Now, of course, we need to deploy our payload. And the payload is going to be attaching to this module right here. And it attaches basically right in this directionality here. Basically the same as our PMA here. So that'll be absolutely fine. We are okay with that. And we're going to open up our service bay. We need to remove 2 struts. So, Bill, you're going to have to EVA here. And we're going to need you to remove this strut to free this up a bit. And I'll just put this in the hitchhiker storage container for now. And it looks like we're going to be able to reach down over here, so that looks good. And there's one additional strut in here that we need to remove, and that is the strut that is attaching the arm to this platform. But I think for the moment, I'm going to leave that. So let's hop back over here. And we need to jettison this docking port. So we'll do that. And that guy is going to kind of bounce here. Now, we're going to need to turn RCS on. We want to head out in not that direction, not that direction. None of these directions. Okay. This is going to be awkward because these are at that angle. Okay. So we're probably... Noted. Absolutely noted. This is going to give us a bit of a spin, but I want to head out this way. Yeah, so this is going to be an issue. We're going to have to move where those are located. So, Bill, you're going to have to grab this guy, and I'm just going to move him to be here, if we can. Apparently, that's not legal. I guess here. Okay. This is going to be slightly tedious. No doubt about that. I'm going to grab this guy. We'd like to move him to be somewhere up over here. Let's turn snapping on for the moment. Ooh, I don't like the angling that that's at, though. Yeah, that can go there. Okay. We just need these to be not at the angles. It's definitely not properly set up for that. So this one can go somewhere out over here if we can find a spot where it can get attached. Or it could just be removed. Technically, all we need is like 1 or 2 of these. So 1 on each side should be good enough, in theory. As long as we have 1 up here, and I would prefer this guy to be located somewhere along here, right? Hang on, what was that? That's a valid location. So then we can just remove this one, like this, and place this in here for now. We can replace it once it actually gets into position. Okay, that should allow us to maneuver this much more thoroughly. Cool. So next up, we're going to grab this guy, and we need to pull it out of this area, right? So what does that end up looking like? Well, that's still going to be a bit problematic, it seems. Moving side to side is not really a thing with this, I guess. So what we want to do is fire just this entire thruster block and push it out of here, right? We want to make this be a little bit clear. But for now, I want to rotate this out this way. Okay. And we're going to need to move this in like this direction, right? And that's going to hook us on here, which is understood. We're going to need to continue to rotate this guy this direction. Only having, or rather lacking the directionality in one direction is problematic. We can, of course, fix that. But for the time being, this will have to do. Okay, let's get this out of here. Gonna need to go... Let's see, thinking about directionalities here. We're very close to getting this out. It's actually bouncing in the direction we want it to go, broadly. So we're just going to give it a little bit of a nudge to clear this. And we're good. Okay, so we got him. We're going to put this in kill rot at this point. And we can arm this guy and control from here. That's going to change our control point, of course. So that's absolutely fine. And from here, I think we're going to be okay, although rotation might be... no, rotation will be fine. Okay, so we're going to need to bring our velocity down. I'm going to set this as our target so that we can see our relative to the station velocity. And we're going to... Okay, so the amount of directionality that we have in those directions is a bit awkward. Noted. So we can't do J and L, horizontal velocity, at this moment. We can do vertical. Gotcha. Well, let's rotate this guy around in, I think, this direction. Ooh, okay, that gives us a lot of speed. That gives us a lot of speed. Okay, this is janky, no doubt about it. I'd like to bring us down to... basically a halt. Okay. How are we going to go about actually turning this? Well, we can turn it like so. Okay. I don't know that this is our final positioning here. But we can definitely turn it like so, and then bring this around. I want to just secure this to a position, because it's janky. We're going to need to get some work on that, for sure. Okay, we need to head in this direction a little bit. What we really need right now is like some verticality, right? It doesn't want to give us that verticality, but I'm just going to rotate us around this way. Like I said, we just want a grab point for the moment so that we can insert these. I mean, we can make this work. But it's really awkward to be lacking one direction of movement. No doubt about that. Okay, so we're going to grab on here. And the idea behind that is this is not where we want to be. But without one direction of movement, we're going to need to do a little bit more work. And specifically, what that means is I want to grab this guy. I'm going to place this thruster pack somewhere out over here. So facing this direction. There we go. And then the other thruster pack is going to go on the other side. And we'll then detach this. Actually, we should refill the monoprop first, just to be on the safe side. But we can just slot this guy in, like, right here. And that should give us all of the directionality that we need. In theory. I hope. I hope. Okay, we can have Bill board again. He doesn't need to do any more Kerbal construction for the moment. We can definitely close our service bay. We don't need to be in there anymore. And I'm going to pin open this monoprop tank here. And then I'm going to pin open all of these monoprop tanks. And we can see we utilized some monoprop for sure. So that is 4, 5, and 6. Here it is. Okay. So there we go. And we're going to refill these with our monoprop on our dragging capsule, which is one of these. Must be this one. Yep. There we go. Boy, that's moving slow. Okay, we'll warp this. There we go. That's all refilled. Fantastic. And we can unpin all of these. Okay, some of those didn't actually take the click, but that's fine. Cool. Now we can release here. There we go. And this guy can go into kill rot. And RCS on. Whoa, okay, hang on. Control from here. I'm not exactly sure what our velocity is looking like right now. We need to set this as our target. There we go. Now we can rotate around to somewhere out over this direction. This does give us quite a lot of momentum to do. Okay. So I do want to go in this direction. There we go. We can see what direction our momentum is in right now. I'm going to thrust limit these down to like 50% thrust. They're pretty sensitive right now. So 1, 2... Did this actually hit 60? Or 50, rather? 50. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So that should make this a lot more controllable. And where's the fourth at? This guy right here? No, this guy right here. Okay. There we go. That should do. So we're going to need to go a little bit in the forward vector. That's backward, but I want to go a little bit forward here. And making our way around to the other side here. Of course, we're in a slightly awkward trajectory here. And I want to think about, let's see, the Bartolomeo needs to go basically parallel. So it needs to go here. Okay, gotcha. And we're going to have to rotate it around to be approximately, in terms of its rotation, like this. Approximately. Okay, let's bring our momentum up. We'll just position it about here. It's still quite sensitive, even at 50% thrust limit, but I think this is fine. We can work with that. Okay, and we'll just bring that around like so. I'm going to turn RCS off, and I'm going to turn us out over this way with our reaction wheel. Rotating it a little bit as we go. And we want to be out over this direction, right? So we're just going to position it about here or so. And we can go ever so slightly forward. And we're just going to want to attach this guy right out over here. So let's bring ourselves into position for that. How much monoprop do we have left? Oh, we've got plenty. Okay, so no problem whatsoever on the monoprop front. We're definitely not perfectly oriented here. We can head slightly down if we wanted to. That's up. So this way would be down. Cool. I think slightly down is, in fact, the way to go here. And we'll just get this thing moved right on in. Again, in reality, this was done with the robotic arm. But we don't have that luxury. Our robotic arm doesn't exactly function the way it's supposed to due to KSP limitations. And that's fine. So we'll just get ourselves into position for this grab on here. I think this is reasonably good, actually. Okay. Now we're going to need to rotate ourselves on over here. And start aiming at the Bartolomeo platform. Or rather, the Columbus module, I think this is. This is the Bartolomeo platform. I believe this is the Columbus laboratory module. Okay, so we'll just position it about here or so. We've still got some vertical speed here. We need to head over in the horizontal vector. So that's going to be... Oh, hands are in the wrong position. Okay, that's going to be out this way-ish. That's noted. And I want to change our pitching here a little bit to be about like this. We're very, very close at this point to grabbing on. Okay, there we go. I think that's where we want it to be. So that should be decent there. Yeah, it's close enough. That's definitely close enough. Okay, so now we're going to need Bill to go do a little bit of external work here. I don't know if he even needs to travel for it. So first things first, I want to strut the Bartolomeo platform to here. Make sure that this is just a little bit stable. So we're going to grab a strut, and I want to place it from ideally like here on this corner out to here. Just making sure that's nice and solid. I don't expect it to not be solid, to be clear. So that should be absolutely fine. There's not a lot of weight here, right? But that's okay. Next, we could strut this up over here if we wanted it to be just that ever so slightly bit more stable. So this would end up going like out over this way. I don't know if I want it to look like that, but we could have it strut in, like, down here. That might be okay. Now I'm going to unstrut the robotic arm for it so that can actually function. There we go. Cool. Not like we're going to use it. It's mostly aesthetic, but that's absolutely fine. And I think we're done with the Bartolomeo platform at this point. I think that's all we need to do. So that'll be fine. We can hop Bill right back inside. And we're ready to leave here then. So that's the Bartolomeo platform installed. We're going to undock here. Fantastic. Nice and small installation. We're going to go to Kilrot, RCS, and we're going to back away from the station. I did not refill these because I don't anticipate needing to utilize that again, so it'll be fine. We'll just back away from the station, and let's put ourselves into orbital retrograde, and we'll see what directionality retrograde is in. We can also, of course, close our Clampotron shielded docking port. Okay, retrograde is this way. We're probably safe to... In fact, we're safe to burn it now, but I'm going to warp until we're kind of out of the keep-out sphere that the ISS has, which is, I think, like 500 meters, but we're going to call it like 100. Yeah, this is turbo safe here. Okay, so that'll be fine. We can fire up our Super Dracos in a not SpaceX-sanctioned use of deceleration. I'm also going to begin burning with our monoprop here, and let's make our way away from the station. Farewell, ISS. We will be back, and it will be very soon. Excellent. So obviously that gets us quite a lot of momentum away from the station, drops our periapsis by almost half. And at this point, we're mostly just, yeah, this is the edge of the keep-out sphere right here in reality. I think it's 500 meters anyway. It's been a while. I'd have to double-check that. Regardless, it doesn't really matter. All we need to do now is drop our periapsis to like -60. So we just need to get some distance from the ISS so that we can physics warp without hopefully breaking everything here, because that would be mildly problematic. There's our boost, or rather our second stage. I was going to say our booster. Our booster was mostly recovered. Our booster mostly survived its landing. Not entirely. It was a qualified success, but all things considered, not too bad. Yeah, we broke a couple landing legs, and that kind of made it difficult to land properly, but it's fine. It's fine. It's very, very touchy, the amount of throttle that we need to do that. It would probably be better if I were to shut down some of our engines and do it like it's done in reality, right? Because I believe they land on one engine in reality, or do they land on 3? I think the 3 is for the... If I remember correctly, the 3 is, I believe, for the re-entry burn, and then they land on a single engine. I don't know if we have the thrust to weight to do that. We'd have to check. There's the ISS unloaded. Fantastic. Oh, we've got a frame rate now. It's so nice. No doubt about that. That is a very good thing. So we're continuing to decelerate here. Now we're in physics warp, and that's phenomenal. We are, of course, going to be able to decelerate 4 times faster in physics warp, so that is good. Down to 180 kilometer periapsis. We're still in orbital velocity at this moment, but we are going to be dropping suborbital relatively soon. Cool. If only we could physics warp faster than 4x. That is a feature in KSP2. And like I said previously, I'm definitely looking forward to a series of KSP2 after this one finishes up, which this is getting fairly close to finishing. It's been a long series, no doubt about it, but it's kind of recreating, what, like 60 years of spaceflight? So yeah, it'll be a little bit of a long one. And we've got some to go yet. I do plan on doing the Artemis missions, even though those are not actually, you know, done yet. So that's fine for the moment. That'll be another sub-series here with KSP1. And then after that, this series will end, and I'd like to try out, more like revisit KSP2. First time we visited it, it was very early on, and it was full of all sorts of bugs. We did manage a moon landing, but it was not great. I had a lot of issues with it, no doubt about it. And they were all pretty much technical issues. I didn't really have significant gameplay issues. So hopefully those have been fixed. I hear good things about it now, and we'll check it out as soon as we're done with this series. For now, of course, our periapsisite is negative. We are suborbital, and we have been for a little while. But I'm taking our periapsisite, as before, down to that sweet, sweet minus 60. Because we know that that's a pretty decent entry trajectory that doesn't take altogether too long to fly through. So that looks good. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Cool. Let's eject our trunk section. I guess I shouldn't have done it in that direction necessarily, but it's probably fine. We've got a ways to go before we enter the atmosphere, so this is not going to be our final re-entry trajectory. That'll be okay. You can see it's already drifting off. But I would have... Oh, that's very overlit. Okay. I would have preferred to drop it either towards or away from the planet, which is more guaranteed to not be a problem. But yeah, you can see it's definitely not going to actually end up being an issue. RCS can be turned off here, and at this point we can physics warp our way in. We'll be absolutely fine coming in. We know that this speed will be okay. It looks like it's probably going to end up being a land landing. There's the trunk section burning up a bit. And you can see here, we're definitely getting some heating effects on our RCS thrusters. That's fine. Those heat gauges are going down. Our speed is going down dramatically. We've got more than enough drag to do this. Cool. Drogues are out, and mains are out, and it's a nice quick re-entry. Excellent. It's also, if we don't have it tested, a spicy re-entry that could go very badly if your aerodynamics aren't up to scratch. Luckily, we have had it tested, and that's all good. Oh, there's a bit of our trunk section. We didn't impact it, and that's what matters. It is, of course, going to hit the ground here. We do expect in reality that it burns up and does not make it to the ground, but yeah, heat shields are less necessary in KSP1 than I would maybe prefer. Okay, it looks like none of that actually survived impact, so that's fine. I just wanted to run that unphysics warped and see if anything survived impact. It didn't, so that's fine. We weren't going to get anything from recovering it anyway, so yeah, no issue whatsoever there. We can have the smart ISS be off at this point. It doesn't need to be running. Our electric charge is out anyway, so it's not like that's doing anything. We're just being held here by aerodynamic forces. No problem whatsoever. This will be a land landing as expected, and we may or may not lose our heat shield. We'll find out, but that'll be the only thing, almost certainly. Coming out of physics warp, and no heat shield loss. I like it. Let's recover the vessel and head right on back. So, of course, we're going to need to get our payment for that mission, and it's way too late in the episode to start up our next mission. So we're just going to get the payment here and call it a day on this particular mission. That's absolutely fine. Our next mission, hopefully we'll be able to land the booster. I mean, we have successfully landed the booster pretty regularly in water landings. Land landings are spicier, no doubt about it, but we've successfully landed the booster on land as well. So it's just a matter of execution. And that is a secondary objective. So it's all good. We're loading in here. We should be almost done. Eventually KSP will get us there. There we go. Fantastic. Another 4,000 funds recovered. So we did still recover almost half of the cost of that. We need to get our payment for that particular mission. There we go. And now it is, of course, time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to launch our next Falcon 9 mission, I think. Or is that a Proton mission? Let me double check that. It is a Falcon 9 mission. The Nanorax Bishop Airlock. Okay, that'll be a very easy one to put in. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.